Representative Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like the underlying bill, this amendment does not address matters of direct effect on what's taught in classrooms. Like the underlying bill, this amendment focuses on trainings and informations shared among school district board members, school district staff members, and other professional education in the K-12 education sphere. What the amendment does is it prohibits certain enumerated concepts in that professional education that we find corrosive and divisive. Mr. Speaker, may I read from the amendment?
Please proceed.
These are the 9 concepts. 1, that one race or sex is inherently superior to another race or sex. 2, the United States is fundamentally racist or sexist. 3, an individual, by virtue of their race or sex, is inherently racist, sexist, or oppressive. 4, an individual should be discriminated against or receive adverse treatment solely or partly because of their race or sex. 5, an individual's moral character is determined by their race or sex. 6, an individual, by virtue of their race or sex, bears responsibility for the actions committed in the past by other members of the same race or sex. 7, an individual should feel discomfort, guilt, anguish, or any other form of psychological distress on account of their race or sex. 8, meritocracy, or traits such as a hard work ethic, are racist or sexist, or were created by a particular race to oppress another race. And 9, any other form of race or sex stereotyping or any other form of race or sex scapegoating. And then it goes on to define those last terms in more detail. Mr. Speaker, we find racism and sexism abhorrent. We encourage in our training of young K-12 students.
The member has less than 30 seconds remaining. Please conclude.
Thank you. We encourage in our training of what's taught to our young K-12 students a focus on our common humanity. Please vote yes. Thank you. The state constitution tells us that our paramount duty as a state is to deliver uniform, quality, basic education to the children of Washington. It's a duty that we take very seriously here in this chamber, and that's a good thing. What we have in this policy, Mr. Speaker, is, well, I think it's a difference of opinion, obviously, about the best way to deliver on that paramount duty that we have. I think it is essential that we recognize the humanity and the divine spark in every child in our education system in this state, every individual child. And when we don't do that, we fail that child. But the question, Mr. Speaker, is how do we best establish policy that recognizes that humanity, recognizes that divine spark? You know, I hear a lot from parents and some students too in this state, not just from my district, but all around. And what they want is they want a quality education. They want to be able to read, do math, write, do programming, computer programming at a high quality level. And Mr. Speaker, I think that is our charge. Our charge is to deliver those skills to the kids of our state. What we have in this policy, Mr. Speaker, is a disagreement on the path to delivering those high quality skills. You know, Mr. Speaker, I believe in my heart that the nation's motto, E pluribus unum, from many we become one, is a foundational belief in this country and this state. But in order to realize that belief, we need to understand that each child is an individual, not a member of a group, and we need to look at them as an individual spark.
The member has 30 seconds remaining.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And we believe on this side of the aisle, most of us, that the underlying policy here is not the best way to recognize that spark and encourage it. We believe we should focus on fundamental skills in our education system and excellence. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, I'm asking for a no vote on the underlying bill. E pluribus unum.